Sponsored by Dennis J. Courtney, M.D., Director of the Courtney Medical Group, located at 3075 Washington Road in McMurray, Pennsylvania. For more information or to make an appointment, call 724-942-3002. That's 724-942-3002 for Dennis J. Courtney, M.D.
Good morning, everybody. Good morning, everybody, and welcome to AIM Impact on Your Health. AIM Impact on Your Health, for every day our goal to help you learn at least one thing to help you live better and longer. AIM Impact on Your Health is heard each and every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday from 8 to 9 o'clock. I'm Dr. Dennis Courtney, and I'm with you each and every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday from 8 to 9. AIM Impact on Your Health, where each day you'll find current medical news, knowledgeable guests, and fascinating health topics. And of course, where we do encourage you to call in to join in today, a Monday morning version of the show. What a weekend it was. What a day yesterday, even today. Not too bad. We're here in this month of April, and we do have an up-and-coming MCG testing date. Looking at my calendar, this is one of the few days left. I have the opportunity to bring Jerri Singleton aboard with us because the rest of our schedule is just so doggone jam-packed. That being the case, therefore, our discussion today will swing to this fantastic new testing procedure we do in our office called MCG testing. I hope many of you take us up on our offer. You really couldn't be listening to this show and have missed the issue of MCG, but if it's your first time tuning us in and learning about MCG testing, you just may want to take us up on our offer to allow us to test you. We'll be talking about multifunctional cardiogram. That's the MCG that we're talking about. Testing to be taking place on the 21st with Jerri Singleton today, the representative of a company called Prologic, the distributors and the only distributors of this particular device. Talking about cardiac catheterization information without that cath. Now look, in the course of our discussion with Jerri today, you want to call in to ask a question or to make a comment, the number will be 412-825-6262. That's 412-825-6262. And of course, I'll give that number additionally throughout the hour. Glad you were with us on Friday. I want to apologize. I understand the voice quality of our guest, Dr. Ed Conrad, who's a wonderful public speaker. Evidently, when it's just dawning out there in Arizona, is mild and meek, and it's not coming through loud enough for you. I do apologize for it. Of course, Edward Conrad, a very renowned ophthalmologist, born and raised here in the city of Pittsburgh, and a board-certified ophthalmologist, yes, but treating eye conditions and eye disorders in a very, very different way. I hope he's been able to explain some of that in the two previous Friday shows that we've done with him, because we had him as our guest on Friday the 1st of April, and we had him on last Friday. We hopefully allowed you to come in and bring some of your personal issues and your own eye situations to the forefront, and hopefully he was able to shed some light on it. If you've had really in-depth issues, you'll probably want to take us up on our invite to you here. Look, we got him coming to town in the second week of May. There are two reasons why he's here. They both have to do with meeting you. The first reason is to give you all an opportunity in a very low-pressure environment, just an enjoyable evening, to spend a couple of hours with us, namely Dr. Ed and myself, here in the office on May 9th. That is the day after Mother's Day, because, truth be known, we accidentally scheduled it on May 8th, and I feel very embarrassed about the entire thing. But we changed our dates. He'll be here in the office with me on the 9th between the hours of 6 and 8 o'clock. Of course, concomitant to that, he'll also be in town for a 3-day treatment seminar, which will begin on the 9th and continue for the 10th and the 11th of May. This 3 days is meant to get your conditions properly diagnosed and then to get a treatment plan put into play. And I mean a different treatment plan than any ophthalmological intervention locally would be able to pursue. They are conventional. They pursue the eye disorders that you have in the conventional way, and if you're getting great and wonderful results from it, well, then you're completely pleased and happy, and you probably don't want to venture off and to do something that may jeopardize your progress. I don't think that's possible, but nonetheless you may consider it to be so. If, however, and I think unfortunately the vast majority of our listeners are in the second category, whereby you have diagnosed vision conditions currently being managed by local ophthalmologists in their conventional, trained way, but your progress is slim to none. And in fact, what oftentimes happens is the disease for which you're seeing your local ophthalmologist is one that continues to progress. And your vision isn't remaining static at all. Your vision is deteriorating, and it's getting pretty scary. Now, I think at that point, it really behooves you to seek an additional approach, new approaches, ones that offer potentially the ability to get that eye condition turned around in such a way that your local ophthalmologist just won't have the ability to be able to restore your vision in these new alternative homeopathic, and the list keeps going on and on and on. So if you have a mind to want to become involved in this treatment seminar, then you can do so. By the way, you can enroll in either one of these seminars. The general seminar, where I believe Dr. Conrad states he's going to be talking about the 10 keys to improving your vision. It's sort of a standard lecture he does. But once that lecture is over, I know he allows the audience to ask him specific questions with regard to their own personal issues, and literally until the audience runs out of questions to ask. So you want to take him up on that. You want to be here. I'd like to meet you too on the 9th of May for that general seminar, or the entire treatment seminar. There are 7 enrolled so far. He normally doesn't allow any more than 10, so there are a few slots. In either case, here's the phone number. Give this number a call. Wait a bit. They're in Phoenix. They're not awakened yet. You have to wait a couple hours. A 3-hour time difference means you're going to have to wait around to 11 o'clock, 12 o'clock. And give this number a call, 1-800-430-9328. That's 1-800-430-9328. Reserve a seat at the seminar, the general treatment seminar, or reserve a slot in the specific treatment seminar to be held over those 3 days here in the office. Looking forward to do it. I've been involved with a lot of these in the past, but usually they're held in hotels. This time in the office. Looking forward to it. Okay. Also on our schedule, you'll want to be with us on Wednesday, when the girls, Judy and Susan, will be here to talk about thermography. Now, thermograms are something that we've promoted here for a number of years. It is the best way I know of to do breast awareness in a way that actually will protect you. Mammograms will not. It's a big statement, I know, but those of you who spent many years with me can appreciate why I'm so fervent and really absolute in my ruling on these mammograms. Really a bad shake for women all the way around. Much better would be the thermogram, and so the thermograms are going to be given here in the office on the 21st for this month of April. If it's your time, ladies, meaning it's now a year has passed, it's time to do your annual thermogram because you have given up mammograms a long time ago, but you still need to do your annual thermogram, and you want to be paying attention on Wednesday. The girls tell me they have some sort of a special to offer you. I'm looking forward to bringing them aboard. We'll talk about thermograms in general for those of you who don't know much about them. and we'll get down to nitty-gritty for those of you who know an awful lot about them, and let the girls from Three Rivers take charge on Wednesday's show. Then on Friday, we're bringing Dr. David Brownstein back. I got this feeling that we're going to be bringing Dr. David Brownstein back quite a few times in the up-and-coming future. The reason is that, well, of course, we'd like to talk about David Brownstein's books, and he's got 9 of them. And up to this date, we've only talked about one of them. Is one that launched the entire authoring career of his, called Iodine. This one is the best sequel to that particular book called, what I got in front of me, Overcoming Thyroid Disorders. David Brownstein is going to be our featured guest on this Friday's show. You'll absolutely want to pay attention. You, especially you ladies, who are born and raised smack dab in the middle of something called a goiter belt. Not garter belt, goiter belt, which has thyroid implications for everybody, including men, but most specifically for the ladies too. And so we'll want to talk about this thyroid condition on Friday. Then next Monday, 1 week from today, well, I don't know how this show's going to turn out a week from today because, well, I'm getting a little concerned. My Russian is not all that good. It's actually absent. I don't know much Russian at all. I'm sure hoping that Dr. Michael Kiriak, Ruski himself, so from Soviet Russia, where he did most of his experimentation and his initial work, is going to be our featured guest. Now, we've been hearing about Dr. Kiriak and his contribution to science through the discovery of bioengineered algae concentrates. I just sort of put the an acronym of BAC, B-A-C, on that, so you don't have to give it the full mouthful when you mention it. But nonetheless, Roland Thomas has been our guide to introduce us to these concentrates, and he's told us the Michael Kiriak story over and over again. And so the last time I had him on the show, I said to Roland, hey, how is Dr. Kiriak? Does he even speak English? Because I was getting the impression that he spoke, well, obviously Russian, but he's got a bit of a battle with French. And so I just never broached the subject until I finally said, does he speak English? And he said, you know what, his English is pretty doggone good. It's getting better. So he said, do you think he can handle being on the radio show? And sure enough, we have him coming on as a guest on our show for about a half hour. We'll be with Roland at the beginning, we'll be with Roland at the end, but somewhere in the middle there, we're going to spend a half hour with this just fascinating scientist with a fascinating story, Dr. Michael Kiriak, our special guest on the 18th, 1 week from today. And of course, as we're going to be discussing for the rest of the morning, MCG testing on the 21st. That is how the month is shaping up. And if there are any more holes to plug, I'll sure let you know about them as we move toward the end of the month and as we get into the month of May. And already looking into May, she's coming back. Susan Smith-Jones will be with us on the 4th, talking continually again about cleanses, specifically dyes and skin detoxification, and we'll let her handle that subject when she arrives. There it is, folks. That's the way the schedule is as I know it today. I'll keep you informed with any additions and any changes. So let's do this. Let's take a short break. In the interim, I'll go find him, folks. He'll be in the office on the 21st. He's been on the radio multiple times now. Always he tends to put a little twist on MCG testing. I didn't know the time before. Be right back with Mr. Jerri Singleton in a moment.
This is Dennis J. Courtney, MD. You become confused about how best to manage your health. It's no wonder. It seems that every time you turn on the television or radio, another expert has yet another suggestion for you to follow that seems to be reasonable enough, but no matter how dutifully you follow the instructions, it just doesn't quite produce the results that you were looking for. If this confusion sounds familiar to you, give us a call at the Center for Complementary Health, where we'll make some sense of the confusion based on a blending of traditional and alternative medicine that we've been perfecting over the last 7 years. We offer metabolic nutrition testing, immune system repair, natural hormone replacement therapy, chelation therapy, cutting-edge allergy correction, and a host of other safe and effective alternative therapies.
There you are.
Dennis J. Courtney, M.D. is
Oh, doing
located
good.
at 3075 Washington Road in McMurray. Phone 724-942-3002.
Have you been to the doctor lately? Was it the big top of your complaint list? Even if your doctor asks you what you eat, the recommended 5 servings of fruits and vegetables a day is a dream in your busy schedule. What if you learned of a product 5 years in the formulation that delivers 5 servings of fruits and minerals in just 1 ounce? That's right, it's Fruit of the Spirit. The blessings of Fruit of the Spirit are now formulated into a delicious whole fruit puree product rich in antioxidants and minerals. Your health is more than just a test result. It's a balance of physical, spiritual, and emotional factors. You work regularly to strengthen your faith. Let Fruit of the Spirit help cover your nutritional needs in a convenient and cost-effective ounce a day. Call 1-800-442-3793 for a special promotional offer. Fruit of the Spirit, a blessing for your good health. Fruit of the Spirit, 5 servings of fruits and minerals with no added sugar. That's 1-800-442-3793 for your good health. Call them now, 1-800-442-3793.
Hey, good morning, everyone. Welcome back once again to AM Impact on Your Health. Here on this Monday morning version of the show, gorgeous morning it is, and hopefully wonderful weekend it was for you as it was for me. We're kicking off the week here with an action-packed month in full force. These new guests just keep coming at you right and left. I always enjoy bringing you information and very powerful messages when it comes to managing your health. And there's a more powerful message that I've been able to bring to you in the past month or so than a message that comes to us by virtue of the gentleman that we've invited back today. It seems that there's a device out there that he's intimately involved with. He certainly taught me a lot about it. He's teaching you about it each and every single day. When it comes to taking care of your health, you have to know your baseline health status to find out how pertinent that revelation is going to be for you. And when it comes to information about your cardiovascular status, well, there's no better way than utilizing a new device. Space-age electronic wizardry has come to visit us in the health area, and the name of the device is called MCG. The Masters of Ceremony when it comes to MCG testing is none other than Jerri Singleton. He is our guest today. Let's welcome him aboard. Say good morning. Hello, Jerri, and welcome back.
Good morning, Dr. Courtney. How are you doing this morning?
I'm doing exceptionally well, Jerri. The excitement is starting to bubble over around here, Jerri, if you know what I mean. We've got a date coming up on the 21st of the month where you're going to be returning to the office. We're doing a full day of testing once again, MCG testing, ladies and gentlemen. A 6-minute test. Jerri will be explaining that in just a moment. That, and I always like to say it this way because, well, I never saw it written anywhere, but I keep getting verification that it is an accurate description of this test. Jerri, here it goes again. I say this test, it gives us the same information as one would get as though they might have had a cardiac catheterization without ever having had a cardiac catheterization. Now, you've always verified that that's an accurate way of describing your test in the past. You continue to do so? You back me up on that?
Absolutely. And as you mentioned, and I know as you and I have discussed, there's 2 publications in particular that have studied that. There's multiple peer-reviewed medical journals out there on the multifunction cardiogram or the MCG device that we're talking about. But there's 2 in particular, one in chest, the other in circulation, which is the American Heart Association's publication, both comparing us against the accuracy of angiography or heart cath, as you and I have discussed, and within about 90% accuracy, which is about the average between the 2 studies. we have been able to correctly identify the severity of coronary disease in patients that have been sampled. And actually, there's a new publication that I'll be bringing to you that just came out that compares us not only against the angiography again, but they've actually been doing studies against our technology and stress testing specifically, which is a pretty cool article. So I'll have to get you that as well. So, but absolutely, there's no question. It's phenomenally accurate when compared to other technology. I know we've talked a lot about individually the accuracy in terms of sensitivity and specificity, which you and I relate to as overall accuracy. But in actually comparing our technology in a confined study environment, our technology has been right around 90% accurate when compared to angiography or heart catheterization. And there's a brand new study out there that was just published that does so as well against other testing as well. So it's a pretty exciting study. I can't wait to share with you.
Well, let me just say that now this is going to be your fourth time here coming to the office. Each and every time we seem to tack on a little more numbers in terms of the total number of patients that we get a chance to test. This one, if we're on pace for it, should be a record, Jerry. We're working on the number 32 for the day. We're starting out in the morning, ladies and gentlemen, at 9 a.m., going to 5 p. every 15 minutes. And should say, and I'll try to give the number frequently, if you are intrigued by what Jerry and I are talking about, and if you think you'd like to be involved in this testing, don't forget to give us a call at our office today at 724-942-3002 to get yourself scheduled into the additional slots that are available. Now, Jerry, I'll tell you that what emerges as this testing now, the fourth time you're here, I'm seeing a lot of folks after the test to go over the results. And although I probably could have never made some of the statements I'm about ready to make in the early days, because it takes going over these results with patient after patient after patient to really see what I consider to be the biggest benefit of all. See if you agree with me on this one, Jerry. I'll share it with you, okay?
Sure.
And that is, when you talk about getting the information of a cardiac cath without actually having the cath, because we don't want anybody ever have to have a cardiac cath. But I think it's also safe to say nobody has ever just stepped up and said, well, could you do a cardiac cath on me? I mean, I don't believe that's ever possible to just walk into a doctor's office and order one up because you'd like to have one. Everybody dreads it to begin with, and you have to be in a serious set of circumstances in order to qualify to get one done. Like you have to be having severe chest pain, or you got to be having a heart attack now, and things like that. One would hope that no one has to go through in order to find out good or bad news. Wouldn't you say, Jerry?
No, that's absolutely accurate. And to your point, a cardiac cath is not something that cardiologists perform on patients unless it is absolutely necessary because of the risks involved. It is a very invasive procedure, where they actually go up to the femoral artery or another artery, and actually with a catheter to take a look at those coronary arteries specifically. And I know you and I have talked about we've actually seen some patients in the office that have gone through some procedures like this, and they've been kind of on the flip side of those risk factors that we talk about when having a cardiac cath. Where one in particular I'm thinking of required an emergency bypass graft procedure when going through this. So absolutely. And in the new study that I'm talking to you about that is being released at the ACC that's coming up here, the big cardiologist convention. The data is, according to the National cardiovascular data registry in the United States, it's been revealed that only 38% of patients that have actually been referred for coronary angiography or heart catheterization have had relevant coronary stenosis of 70% or greater. So only 38% of patients sent forward that believe to have were believed to have a very high level of coronary disease, believed to be at very, very high risk for coronary artery disease, so serious enough to go forward with this very invasive procedure. A little more than a third of those actually had it. So I believe that our technology is going to help out more and more as we're going to see in the coming future. I know this is going to be a big discussion point at the ACC as this article is going to be released at. So I absolutely agree with you.
Well, here's where I really find the benefit to let me share with you now what I've been able to observe, and that is a number of patients of mine. By the way, my patients and my listeners, they walk the walk, they talk the talk. They are the healthy eaters. They eat organic. They take a whole bunch of supplements. They exercise. They watch their weight. They're very proud of the fact that when I ask them, could you please tell me what medicines you're on, they look at me like, what, are you kidding me? I'm not on any medicines. And they're very proud of that, all right? So here's what I've learned by going over a number of folks and where I really see this test being helpful. There have been a number of folks now that I consider to be poster children. I mean the actual embodiment of health as I know it with respect to my relationship with these people for now a number of years, and I consider them to be the healthiest people going. Well, I can't tell you how frequently it has been where we've done MCG testing and actually learned that their cardiovascular disease is pretty well moving down the road. And they have been shocked by this. They have been dumbfounded by this. They have become apoplectic by this right in front of my very eyes. And as I pondered this with them, I got to tell you, Jerry, the way I see this test really being so helpful is I'm thankful. And as they leave my office, at least they tell me they're equally thankful to know exactly where they stand, because they thought everything was going so well. They thought, well, geez, I'm feeling so wonderful. There couldn't be possibly anything going on with me. When in fact, age and genetics and familial disposition and all those other factors are weighing in this population, and they do have cardiovascular disease, and they would have never, ever even had the hint about it until this test. And I think this is where this test really comes in, especially in my patient population. Now, what do you think about that, Jerry?
No, I dead on with what you indicate. I know from the experiences we've had in the past, your patients have been very tuned in. As you and I have discussed at the conclusion of each clinic, every clinic that we've had, your patients are the patients that we dream about, the ones that don't wait until they are sick to be seen or to be treated. You and I always discuss that we love when we see patients enthusiastic about their health, that take an active role in that don't wait to be seen once they're sick. They come in before they're sick. They come in for regular checkups. They're very interested in these kind of technologies that are offered to them. This one in particular, it gives us that ability to screen patients in a sense that have some of the risk factors or some of the symptoms or some of the family history, or they might already have high blood pressure, maybe not. They might have high cholesterol, maybe not. There could be a range of things out there that would make them believe that they could be developing some coronary disease, or just in a sense want to know where they stand currently, because as you and I have discussed, there's not always patients aren't always symptomatic or present with many symptoms, or maybe not even symptoms at all with coronary disease. And oftentimes, you and I are very surprised at the scores that are returned, because this is one of those things that patients can And oftentimes in the offices I go into every day, they're not seen until they have their first heart attack or their first all of a sudden have extreme chest pain, find themselves in the emergency room, and all of a sudden are being sent forward for a stent or bypass surgery. So most of the time, these patients don't have symptoms until those kind of things creep up on them. And so for your listeners out there, I know this clinic is, I know for the slots that we have left, I know it's not going to surprise me at all that we're going to see the same kind of excited patients out there that want to know where they stand. Once again, this is a 6-minute test that enables us to not only test them for coronary disease, to see where they're at, on that spectrum from 0 to 20, but also gives us the ability to discuss with them, where they should be. If they are low, ways to keep that low. If they're a little elevated, ways that we can, put a plan in place, set a measurable goal with them to bring that down, and then it gives us the ability, like I know we've talked about, to track them over time, to maybe retest them in the future at some point in time, whatever you and the patient discuss. To see if they were able to, with diet, exercise, other therapies, and so forth, possibly, to get that down, get that score down, so that we are, we're saving lives. We're helping patients out there that, especially in Fayette County and Washington County and Allegheny County, all these counties that surround us that have some of the highest rates of coronary disease out there. That have been published. And, as you and I have talked about, coronary disease is the #1 killer of mankind in the United States, above all other causes of death. Like I said, it is one of those things that leads patients to heart attacks and, stenting, coronary bypass surgeries, and so forth. So, I couldn't agree with you more, Dr. Courtney.
Well, the testing will allow some to, actually come in and justify and verify how they feel about themselves, because we see some awfully low scores here, Jerry. By the way, I think maybe we should have you talk about what this scoring is. Some people listening may not quite understand it. Why don't we do this? Let's take a short break. When we come back, talk to us about how this test result actually comes out. How it is that when we do this testing and we lay a number on you, what that number may actually mean, what the range of those numbers are for those of the patients who've already had it done, and for those who may be having it in the future. Can you handle that when we come back, Jerry?
Let's do it, sure.
Okay, we're with Jerri Singleton. MCG testing is going to be in the office on the 21st. The number to get involved with that, 724-942-3002. We'll be back in a moment with Jerri Singleton.
Want to help your family get healthier? Instead of learning to disguise tofu with Wondrous Way, how about some real nutritional power? If your family has the typical American palate for fries, pizza, and burgers, giving your family the blessing of good nutrition is a struggle. Fruit of the Spirit is the answer for your family's nutritional needs. Fruit of the Spirit is an all-natural whole fruit puree made from fresh fruits native to the Holy Land with alkalizing minerals. Fruit of the Spirit was 5 years in the formulation and the work of a team of top nutritional experts with independent science to confirm its antioxidant power. 1 ounce a day provides the equivalent of 5 servings of fruits and minerals. Fruit of the Spirit is convenient, affordable, and delicious. Even your picky family will sing the praises of Fruit of the Spirit. Give your loved ones the blessing of good nutrition. Call 1-800-442-3793 for a special promotional offer. Fruit of the Spirit, a blessing for your good health. That's 1-800-442-3793. Call them now, 1-800-442-3793.
This is Dennis J. Courtney, MD. You become confused about how best to manage your health. It's no wonder. It seems that every time you turn on the television or radio, another expert has yet another suggestion for you to follow that seems to be reasonable enough, but no matter how dutifully you follow the instruction, it just doesn't quite produce the results that you're looking for. This confusion sounds familiar to you. This is called the Center for Complementary Health, where we'll make some sense of the confusion based on a blending of traditional and alternative medicine that we've been perfecting over the last 7 years. We offer metabolic nutrition testing, immune system repair, natural hormone replacement therapy, chelation therapy, cutting-edge allergy correction, and a host of other safe and effective alternative therapies.
Dennis J. Courtney, MD, is located at 3075 Washington Road in McMurray. Phone 724-942-3002.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back once again to AIM Impact on Your Health here on this Monday morning version of the show. We're with a fellow gentleman, really needs no introduction. He's frequently with us. He's certainly been in the office a number of times and due to return. He's coming back here on the 21st of this month to do repeat MCG testing. At this stage of the game, by the way, there aren't any repeaters, so these are brand spanking new folks who are going to be learning about their cardiovascular status, as the previous 3 different groups have had to do so and have benefited from that evaluation. So, Jerry, we're talking about this testing that you do. Now, it's a little different. You know, cardiac cath brings you back a report that says something like this. When we approached the left main, it was occluded by a factor of 30%. The right coronary artery was 60% occluded. The circumflex was 80% occluded. They were occlusion scores, talking about how much clogging there actually was in arteries. This test, although it correlates well with the cardiac cath results, doesn't give you a similar set of scoring. Talk to us about how the scoring is done with this device.
Sure, absolutely. And as you mentioned, like you said, just to kind of reiterate, most of the patients are probably familiar if they've had a test out there like a cath or a stress test, some cardiolite stress test. They might be familiar in terms of percent of occlusion or blocking, percent blocked. A lot of the patients that I see day to day have that kind of a approach to things, and that's just because that's the way it's been done for a number of years. What we've done, in a sense, is this technology, because it is very non-invasive. It's a 6-minute test where we're connecting a patient 5 leads, 1 on each wrist, 1 on each ankle, and then 1 on C5, the fifth intercostal on the upper left rib cage of the patient. They keep all their clothes on with the exception of their shoes and socks. We test them in a resting state, so they lay back for 6 minutes. I'm collecting 5 to 80-second measurements from that patient. And once I have that data at the end of the day, we plug that into or if necessary, we can do it at that moment, even between patients, if it's a situation that's severe enough. Plug the machine into a secure line where it sends that data off to a server in New York. It processes that data through 6 different mathematical transformations or calculus-type models, identifying areas in that data. It's plotting that data in a way where it's able to identify supply-demand imbalance for oxygenated blood, where, in a sense, the heart is demanding more oxygenated blood than it's able to receive from those coronary arteries. So when that happens, we identify those through these 6 different calculations, these different mathematical transformations, and then after we have that data, it's 166 data points for each patient that we're collecting. We then compare that patient's information that we tested in your office, Dr. Courtney, and that have gone through those different mathematical transformations against our control group, our patient database of 42,000 patients that have had this test done and a heart cath. And when having that, we've correlated the 2 together in a way to identify certain patterns, different ranges of coronary severity, so that we're able to again, plot a score for that patient, 0 to 20, and again, in that database, we have every age, every, male, female, every region we have different regions accounted for, all ranges of conditions, ages and so forth, and so all demographics are represented in that, so that we can provide a score for that patient in your office with a very high degree of accuracy, very high degree of sensitivity and specificity, allowing us to identify for that patient where they're at on our 0 to 20 spectrum.
0 to 20.
0 being no detectable level of coronary disease, 4 and above being the beginning levels of atherosclerotic buildup to those early stages of coronary disease or early stages of developing coronary disease. And then, every score above that, increases. 20 being the very highest end of the spectrum, so the closer one approaches to that score, obviously the more severe the patient would be. So, but you're right, this test isn't identifying specifically what artery is blocked, if that's the case or not the case. It's simply able to tell us the most important piece of information that often a physician is trying to determine is, does this patient have some degree of relevant blockage, being the primary question, and then if so, how severe is that blockage? So those are always the two most important questions in a physician's mind. Now, if yes is answered to both of those first questions, the third, the obvious question then is where is that blockage, and that's something that can be obtained if necessary through a more invasive route. That's really the way it should be. We shouldn't be jumping to the most invasive form of testing first. If it's necessary, then obviously require that. But then, so your patients out there might be asking themselves, so what does this do for me then? What does this actually provide for myself? This test is able to provide for, because it's very non-invasive, it's very easy to perform, it's very inexpensive for insurance companies out there to cover. It gives us the ability to test a patient more liberally than other testing does, so that we're, in a sense, we are screening patients in a sense that have, again, that meet the criteria, that have maybe some risk factors there for coronary disease, might be interested in knowing where they stand on that spectrum, maybe have some of those things that would make them more at risk, and then also give us the ability to test them over time. So not just test them once and be done, but really gives us the power to, if necessary, test them every year, test if maybe they're somewhere in the middle there, test them every 6 months. If they're more severe, maybe even a little more frequently than that, to not only identify where they're at, but also make sure we're keeping a close eye on them so they're not progressing like coronary disease typically does.
Now, in keeping with what you just said, I think it's really interesting to point out, certainly my little antenna go up when I see this. I'm always looking, and what was that movie that Tom Cruise was in, Follow the Money? Cuba Gooding, Follow the Money, right? Follow the Money. And right. So I've learned in the medical world, you want to find out what's happening, where it is that the industry looks like it's putting its full force, follow the money. And so, this first came to me a number of years ago when we do ECP here, for instance, in the office. You've seen the machinery that we use. And the first year that I did it, the insurer used to say then, okay, you get 35 treatments when you do ECP. That's all you get. We don't care how sick you are. We don't care how healthy you are. The number's 35. That's it. Then the very next year, Jerry, I got a letter telling me, as of this moment forward, we no longer will hold the doctor to a 35 treatment rule. And then when I read this next sentence, it went, we're going to leave it up to the discretion of the doctor in order to determine when the treatments end. it told me a whole bunch about ECP. Because when you see the insurer putting the money behind a study, it's allowing you to know how much they think of it. And they evidently thought a lot about ECP back then, and it's remained the same all these years later. Now, fast forward, here we are with MCG testing. And I'm going to tell you, ladies and gentlemen, I find the very similar kind of a correlation between how insurers felt about ECP and how they're feeling about MCG. And the reason is they already have built into this the repeatability factor, Jerry. You were just talking about this isn't a one-time and over test. This is based on how you score. This can be a test that the insurer would encourage you to get every 3 months, 4 times a year, to keep checking on your status, and paying for those 4 times a year, which the insurer has to do, tells you they put the full force of their money behind it. And so I thank Tom Cruise for tipping me off to the phrase, follow the money. And you follow the money as a consumer, and you'll see where the money's going is where the action is. What do you think about that?
I couldn't agree with you more. I think that's absolutely true. The case, for the patients that need it, 4 times a year can be very life-saving. If again they're if they're at the higher end of the spectrum, for other patients that don't need it quite that often, it's certainly there for them as well. In the repeatability fashion like we're talking about, so that they can stay involved. And I think the early prevention is going to be the key in really battling coronary disease. And
right.
I couldn't agree with your point more.
Well, I just thought I'd pass that one on because it's something that certainly caught my antenna as they went up early on. Now, we do have a caller. I hope they're still out there. Probably wants to ask you a question. Jerry, come on the store. You're with Jerry Singleton. Go right ahead.
Good morning, Dr. Courtney.
Hi.
Hi, Jerry. I just wanted to call in and tell you I had the MCG testing done with Jerry.
Oh, good.
From Uniontown, and I wanted to let you know it was a wonderful experience. For those that are going to do this for the first time, they have no concern at all. He makes you very relaxed, and it's a wonderful experience. I'm so thankful that you presented this on your program that I was able to go and have this done. Also, I wanted to tell you that I've listened to you for a long time, but I never had a face with a voice. And you brought your picture up on the computer. So now when I listen to you, I have a face with a voice. And I want to just thank you for the program and thank Jerry for his professionalism as he did the test. And it was just a wonderful experience, and I'm looking forward to seeing him again.
Well, now, isn't that a nice call, Jerry? What do you think?
That's phenomenal. The patient I'm speaking of, is this, are you from Dr. May Flores's office in Uniontown, Pennsylvania?
Yes.
Oh, you two got an admiration society going for one another.
Jerry, you did a wonderful job. And I'm so thankful. I listened to Dr. Courtney for so many years, and he's just so informative, and, he's just right with his patients, and I'm so thankful for both of you and what you present.
Oh, boy.
Those out there that's going to have it done, I heard Dr. Courtney say for the first time, they're in for a wonderful experience.
Well, thank you so much. That goes a long way, and this was a paid political announcement.
No, it wasn't.
All right, thank you, ma'am. Hope to see you again in the near future.
All right.
Well, see, Jerry, you two got something going on there, Jerry. Huh?
Well, see, it goes to show that we're growing out there. We're spreading the word, all the way to Uniontown, Pennsylvania, and another a completely other office environment that's one of your listeners and one of our MCG patients out there. So we're really starting to hit things off.
Well, folks, if you're out there and you were intrigued by that call, maybe enticed a bit, don't forget we got a number of slots still open. For those of you who might like to take us up on our offer, we're doing this same MCG testing in the office here on the 21st of the month. That is a Thursday. A lot going on that Thursday. Same day, by the way, and I don't know how it worked out this way, Jerry, but the thermograms are going to be done on the same day. So a lot of activity moving in and out of the office on that day. But if you give us a call at 724-942-3002, we'll be able to sign you up for any one of a number of slots still available. This is a 6-minute test. This takes, we allot 15 minutes over double the time, just so that you can realize that you'll be able to keep a schedule. You can just come in. You won't be here too long. I will say, when you come in, be ready to already schedule your follow-up visit, because the test, although it may take 6 minutes, you can be on your way. You want to spend some time with me, Jerry, afterwards, so that we can go over these results, and that's not going to be any 6 minutes. And I think I've really enjoyed spending that time with patients, making them aware of how they can change these numbers in the future. And I think it's a real bonus about what this test has afforded me as a doctor, as well as those patients who are benefiting from your test. And I'm just pleased to be able to sort of help out.
Yeah, no, I'm really excited about it, and every day there's more and more information out there, more and more patients that are coming forward that get me even more excited. Just in closing, I wanted to share just a little from the new publication that's coming out.
Oh yeah, you said there's information stacking this up.
Cool thing. Most of the patients out there are probably most familiar with nuclear stress testing, cardiolite, or Singleton type stress testing. And in this study, we compared ourselves where in the past we were just talking about degree of accuracy, and independently comparing one to another. In this ACT study, the material that we're going to be passing forward at this conference, the study that we performed, these patients were tested on 3 modalities. One was patients that have had again, I keep talking about how MCG is one of the more accurate means of diagnosing coronary disease out there and its severity. Just to give you a quick rundown, the MCG, 47.4% of the cases, MCG correctly identified coronary disease where stress testing was false. Now 40% of the time, the stress test, they were both correct. In a sense, 40%, they were both correct. 47% MCG was correct, where stress testing was not. And then, as far as them both being false, there was a 6% degree of both being false. Going to show, so if you're kind of summing this data up, as far as accuracy, that's a huge accomplishment to have.
That's big.
To have 47.4% of the cases were more accurate than stress testing. And so it's a really exciting publication. I know it'll be spreading the buzz this week.
Oh, that's going to be a buzz. Oh, absolutely. And it's become a staple item, cardiolite stress testing, which, is invasive once again. Certainly not as invasive as a cath would be, but you've got to get injected with a radioactive dye. You do get X-rayed after these injections, and so it's semi-invasive and not even considered fully invasive for that reason. And to think that this MCG testing can be 47% more accurate than the stress testing, if I heard you right.
Yeah, it's like I said, 40% of the cases, they were both correct, and in 40% of the cases, again, we're taking 100%, out of a pie here, 47.4%, the MCG was correct, where stress testing was incorrect. So, that's a phenomenal result. Typically, we we don't consider we consider technology to be accurate to a degree, but certainly the MCG is stepping the bar up on that. And as you mentioned, this is we're getting more and more recognition with this technology. NIA, which is National Imaging Association, they're the agency, as I'm sure you're aware, Dr. Courtney, that does the prior authorizations for offices for stress testing, and they're actually, for the Blue Cross patients out there, more and more offices are sharing with me that NIA is now asking physicians when they call in to order a stress test, to pre-authorize a cardiolite stress test, if they've had an MCG first. And I I have to believe this has something to do with it. So.
That's interesting because they don't. The majority of physicians out there, especially the cardiologists, don't even know what MCG is.
Right. There's only a handful. There's only a handful out there.
That's got to get their attention.
Office, a number of primary care, but there's still a lot out there that aren't familiar with us yet.
Well, I got to tell you, with bongos in the background, Jerry, just coming in. There you went and did it again, Jerry. I made the statement at the beginning of our talk today. Every time I talk to you on the air, I always learn a new thing that I didn't learn before. Now, you threw me that curveball with the stress test today. That does it. You now are at 100%. You've taught me something different each and every time you've ever been on the show. I look forward to bringing you back there. All right. Thank you much, Jerry. Thank you much. If we can squeeze you in between now and 21st, we will. But other than that, 21st here in the office, ladies and gentlemen, the phone number is 724-942-3002. That is all. See you on Wednesday.
AM Impact on Your Health is sponsored by Dennis J. Courtney, MD, Director of the Courtney Medical Group, located at 3075 Washington Road. For more information or to make an appointment, call 724-942-3002. That's 724-942-3002 for Dennis J. Courtney, MD.
Yeah, coming out of nowhere there. That was really...